Video Phantom! Scary stories!
Before we begin, please make sure you visit our Video Phantoms website every day and check out all of the new content and cool stuff we have for you over there. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you won't miss whenever we upload next. With that being said, let's grab your popcorn and enjoy the video.
The Lost Episode, SpongeBob's creepy VHS tape. It was an ordinary day at the Krusty Krab, with SpongeBob flipping Krabby Patties and Patrick lounging in his usual spot. But things took a turn when SpongeBob stumbled upon a dusty, old VHS tape in the back room, hidden behind a stack of outdated menus. The tape had no label, just a faded sticker that read, "Never air." Intrigued, SpongeBob decided to take the tape home. The old VCR in his pineapple house whirred to life as he inserted the tape. The screen flickered before showing the familiar intro of the Krusty Krab, but something was off. The colors were darker, and the music was distorted. The episode began with SpongeBob and Patrick embarking on an adventure to a mysterious cave they had never explored before. As the episode progressed, the visuals became increasingly unsettling. The cave was filled with bizarre, twisted versions of familiar sea creatures. SpongeBob and Patrick encountered grotesque, deformed jellyfish and eerie shadows that seemed to move on their own. The screen suddenly cut to static before revealing a scene of SpongeBob and Patrick in a dimly lit chamber with a sinister, glowing altar. The characters on screen began to speak in a garbled, haunting tone, their faces contorting into unnatural expressions. The background music became a cacophony of dissonant notes and chilling whispers. SpongeBob's face on the screen grew increasingly pale, and his eyes seemed to widen with terror. The screen displayed a message in jagged, red text, "You shouldn't have watched this." The scene shifted to show SpongeBob and Patrick running frantically, with shadowy figures closing in on them. The tension built as SpongeBob's cries for help echoed in the background. Suddenly, the video cut out, leaving only static. SpongeBob felt an icy chill down his spine. That night, SpongeBob couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As he tried to sleep, he noticed the shadows in his room seemed to move on their own. The next day, things took a darker turn. Strange occurrences began to plague Bikini Bottom. Objects would move on their own, and eerie whispers could be heard in the dead of night. SpongeBob discovered that the episode wasn't just a creepy, abandoned show. It was a cursed artifact. The strange events happening in Bikini Bottom seemed to correlate with what had been shown on the tape. Desperate to end the terror, SpongeBob tried to destroy the VHS, but it reappeared in the back of the Krusty Krab, as if it was never gone. Now, SpongeBob is left with a terrifying realization. The episode was a portal for something dark and malevolent. He's trapped in a nightmare with no escape, haunted by the horrors of the lost episode and the feeling that the sinister presence from the tape is watching his every move. Here's a more expanded version of the story for you SpongeBob fans. The Lost Episode, SpongeBob's creepy VHS tape. SpongeBob SquarePants had always been a curious and adventurous sponge. That curiosity often led him into trouble, but it also brought him excitement and new discoveries. One ordinary Tuesday, as he was cleaning up the back room of the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob stumbled upon something unusual. Among the stacks of dusty old menus and outdated promotional materials, he found a small, unremarkable box. The box was worn, its edges frayed, and it had a faded, yellowed sticker that read simply, "Never air." Intrigued, SpongeBob picked up the box and opened it. Inside was an old VHS tape, its label blank. The tape looked ancient, like something from a bygone era. SpongeBob's eyes widened with curiosity. What could this be? He wondered aloud. The Krusty Krab had seen its fair share of strange occurrences, but this was new. He decided to take the tape home and investigate. As SpongeBob carried the tape back to his pineapple house, he couldn't shake a strange feeling of unease. The sky was a dull gray, and a cold wind rustled the seaweed in the neighborhood. SpongeBob tried to dismiss the feeling as nothing more than a premonition, but it lingered in the back of his mind. Once home, SpongeBob dusted off an old VCR that had been sitting in the corner of his living room. He hadn't used it in years, but he was determined to see what the mysterious tape contained. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, he inserted the tape into the VCR and hit play. The screen flickered to life with the familiar Krusty Krab theme song, but something was immediately off. The colors were muted, almost sepia-toned, and the music had a distorted, eerie quality. SpongeBob squinted at the screen, trying to make sense of the odd visual and auditory distortions. The episode began with a scene of SpongeBob and Patrick, their usual cheerful selves, embarking on an adventure to explore a mysterious cave they had discovered while jellyfishing. The cave was dark and foreboding, with jagged rocks and an unsettling, unnatural silence. SpongeBob and Patrick, however, remained undeterred, their excitement palpable as they ventured deeper into the cavern. As the episode progressed, the atmosphere grew increasingly unsettling. The cave seemed to stretch on endlessly, and strange, eerie shadows flickered along the walls. The laughter of SpongeBob and Patrick became nervous, strained, and the cave seemed to respond to their presence with an ominous resonance. SpongeBob and Patrick encountered grotesque, deformed jellyfish with glowing eyes and unsettlingly wide grins. The creatures hovered in the air, their movements jerky and unnatural. The background music took on a discordant quality, with sharp, jarring notes that grated on the nerves. SpongeBob and Patrick's dialogue became more frantic as they encountered bizarre, twisted versions of familiar sea creatures. The light from their lanterns seemed to warp and distort, casting strange, nightmarish shapes on the cave walls. Then, without warning, the screen cut to static. SpongeBob's heart raced as he watched the snowstorm of white noise flicker across the screen. The static persisted for several agonizing seconds before the image slowly returned. This time, the scene had changed drastically. SpongeBob and Patrick were now in a dimly lit chamber adorned with ancient symbols and a sinister, glowing altar. The altar was covered in strange, pulsating runes that seemed to shift and change before SpongeBob's eyes. The characters on the screen began to speak in a garbled, haunting tone. Their voices were distorted, almost as if they were being submerged underwater. SpongeBob's face on the screen grew increasingly pale, his eyes widening with an expression of terror that felt disturbingly real. The background music had devolved into a chilling cacophony of dissonant notes and haunting whispers. A message appeared on the screen, written in jagged, red text. "You shouldn't have watched this." SpongeBob's heart pounded in his chest as he stared at the screen, unable to tear his eyes away. The atmosphere in the room seemed to grow colder, and a creeping dread settled over him. The scene shifted again, this time to show SpongeBob and Patrick running frantically through the cave. Their faces were twisted in fear, and their movements were jerky and panicked. Shadowy figures seemed to close in on them from every direction, their forms shifting and flickering like dark, malevolent phantoms. SpongeBob could hear their terrified cries echoing through the speakers, mingling with the eerie background noise. The video abruptly cut out, leaving only static. SpongeBob sat in stunned silence, his mind racing. The feeling of dread had intensified, and he felt a cold sweat forming on his forehead. He tried to convince himself it was just a poorly made horror episode, a relic of the past that had no real significance. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. That night, SpongeBob found it difficult to sleep. Every creak and groan of his pineapple house seemed amplified in the darkness. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and he couldn't help but feel as if he was being watched. The episode's disturbing imagery replayed in his mind, and he found himself increasingly fearful of what might happen next. The following day, Bikini Bottom seemed to be plagued by strange occurrences. Objects in the Krusty Krab would move on their own, and eerie whispers seemed to drift through the air. Customers reported feeling an inexplicable sense of unease, and SpongeBob couldn't ignore the strange coincidences. SpongeBob was determined to get to the bottom of the mystery. He returned to the Krusty Krab and searched through old archives, trying to find any information about the mysterious tape. He discovered that the episode had been recorded but never aired. There were no records of it ever being approved or even mentioned in the Krusty Krab's official archives. Desperate to rid himself of the cursed tape, SpongeBob decided to destroy it. He took the VHS and, with a heavy heart, smashed it into pieces with a hammer. The fragments of the tape lay scattered on the floor, and SpongeBob felt a small sense of relief. But as he cleaned up the mess, he noticed something unsettling. The pieces of the tape began to reassemble themselves, as if by some unseen force. Within hours, the VHS tape was whole again, sitting innocently on the shelf, just as it had been before. SpongeBob's heart sank as he realized that destroying the tape had been futile. The strange events continued to escalate. The shadows in SpongeBob's home seemed to grow more menacing, and the whispers became more frequent and disturbing. SpongeBob could no longer tell if the eerie happenings were real or if they were a figment of his imagination. In a moment of desperation, SpongeBob reached out to his friends for help. He confided in Patrick and Sandy, explaining everything that had happened since he discovered the tape. Patrick and Sandy were initially skeptical, but as they witnessed the strange occurrences themselves, they began to take SpongeBob's fears seriously. Sandy, ever the scientist, decided to conduct an investigation. She examined the tape with her advanced technology, hoping to uncover any hidden clues or anomalies. As she analyzed the tape, her equipment detected traces of a mysterious, malevolent energy. Sandy's face grew pale as she realized that the tape was not just a creepy relic. It was a conduit for something dark and malevolent. Sandy's analysis revealed that the tape was linked to a powerful curse, one that had the ability to influence the physical world and manipulate the perceptions of those who watched it. The curse seemed to draw on the viewer's fears and anxieties, amplifying them until they became overwhelming. Determined to put an end to the terror, Sandy devised a plan to neutralize the curse. She and SpongeBob, along with Patrick, performed a ritual to sever the connection between the tape and the malevolent entity it had unleashed. They gathered ingredients from Sandy's lab, including rare herbs and enchanted crystals, and performed the ritual in a secluded part of Bikini Bottom. As they completed the ritual, the atmosphere grew tense and charged with energy. The shadows around them seemed to writhe and twist, and the whispers grew louder. SpongeBob felt a surge of fear, but he remained focused on the task at hand. With a final incantation, Sandy concluded the ritual, and the cursed tape began to emit a blinding light. When the light faded, the tape was reduced to ashes, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. SpongeBob and his friends felt an immediate sense of relief. The strange occurrences that had plagued them began to subside, and the shadows in SpongeBob's home returned to their normal, harmless state. Though the curse had been lifted, the experience left SpongeBob deeply shaken. He had faced a dark and malevolent force that had nearly consumed his reality. The memory of the lost episode and the horrors it had brought would stay with him forever. As time went on, Bikini Bottom returned to its usual quirky self. The Krusty Krab was as busy as ever, and SpongeBob's life gradually returned to normal. But he knew that the world held darker secrets beyond the familiar walls of his pineapple house, and he was determined to approach them with caution and respect. The cursed tape was gone, but the lesson it left behind remained with SpongeBob. Sometimes, curiosity can lead to terrifying discoveries, and not all mysteries are meant to be unraveled.
Hey, what's up, guys? This your boy Quan318. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me to grow. And guys, if you really enjoyed the video, please give it a share on social media, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you guys be hanging out at the most. It really helps, and I appreciate it, guys. Also, my goal is to reach at least 1 million loyal subscribers over the next 5 years. Guys, I'm going to give it everything I got and go hard as I can. And hopefully it pays off for me, guys. And y'all going to be a big part of that. And as I grow, you guys will be rewarded for a lot of stuff for helping me participating. And as just a token of my appreciation, guys, the least I can do. Also, guys, make sure you go down in the video description and click the links. Visit all my websites. I done put hella work into these websites, man. Getting them built up, jam-packed with content just for you guys. You know, we got videos. We got the hottest trending offers online. I'm talking about everything, guys. Everything from education, teaching you how to make $1,000 a day online. Like, man, guys, everything that you can think of is on there. So, guys, make sure you go over there, check it out. Click links, watch videos, do your thing, man. I really want you guys to enjoy. I worked hard on it, and I want you guys to really enjoy it, man. So, yeah. Also, guys, while you're down there in the description, make sure you go and check out my other channels. I got links to all of them down below. I worked hard on these channels, guys. I worked hard on my websites. I worked hard on everything for you guys. Make sure you join my Facebook groups. I got Facebook groups set up for every channel that I got, guys. I'm trying to go global, man. You feel me? It's the family, man. This Rich Founders, man. I want y'all to be part of Rich Founders. Y'all part of the family, man. This a mafia, you feel me? Going worldwide with this shit. But anyway, man, love you guys. Y'all be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.